Texas people want this to happen to be prophetic moment, but the last time they got the number one overall quarterback in a recruiting class, it was in 2002 with Vince Young, and we know how that turned out.
20 years ago. Yeah, we sure do.
That being said, the history, they also wrote Athletic did a good piece on like the last 20 years, the quarterbacks that were number one overall panning out. It was like 9 out of 20. So it's still very hit or miss. You get like a Matthew Stafford, and then you get a certain guy that maybe plays like 6 games in college and just flames out and never does anything again.
So heavy recruitment, that sounds just like a stalker to me. I'm saying that guy was stalking him, man.
Yeah. But I guess to go back to the cynical standpoint, who do you think is the big NIL money? Is it you're saying oil money, Lugs? You're not saying it's Torchy's or Whataburger?
No, I'm saying when you've got all of those tanks there in Houston, all that wildcatting, there's tons. I've never understood why the University of Texas wasn't better than they are, just because even under the table, they should have been able to buy better players. It's like you go back to Colt McCoy, a very adequate quarterback, but not the kind of guy that's going to put you over the top.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to completely disagree with you on that. Like, I will say the one thing, as much as I enjoyed kind of making fun of Mac Brown when he was a commentator, 2 things he did fairly well when he was at Texas is he recruited at a very high level. So they got good players. But the most important thing that Texas has missed since Mac Brown left, because they still, if you look at their recruiting classes, they've still been one of the top tier ones. They've had a real problem developing talent, and that's on them. And
coaching staff.
Yeah. So it's up to the coaching staff. So does Sarkisian have the people to do it? Again, I don't. In his stops as a head coach, he hasn't been at places long enough for me to have an idea if he does. So that is a thing you do have to worry about. The one thing on the front end, at least with Arch, supposedly Arch is very is very social. So he's friends with a lot of the top tier players. So like he's going to recruit players to come to Texas when he gets there. So they're going to get some top tier players through Arch alone. So
yeah, but okay. I think it's coaching hires. They had Charlie Strong. We forgot that maybe 3 years out, didn't win much. Who was the Houston coach? The name escapes me. The guy they just got rid of.
Tom Herman.
Tom Herman. He was supposed to be the next one. And now Sark, and we know what we think of Sark. He's not that exciting or accomplished. Just saying that.
I will agree with you on this. I think Sark is I think he from X's and O's, you look at what he did with Alabama. I think he's very good at X's and O's. That doesn't mean you're a good head coach, though.
Right?
So, because again, you could say people could say what they want about Nick Saban, and again, I'm not going to do a straw man argument. I don't think anyone. But the one thing you could say about Nick Saban, why all those guys get drafted highly, particularly from the secondary, because that's probably not to say he's not good in other areas, but that's his bread and butter is secondary. He coaches those guys up, so like they are polished as hell by the time they leave to go to the NFL and play on Sundays.
Well, I can't wait for Arch Manning to be in a nice, shiny Houston Texans uniform someday, because they'll still be bad, according to you guys. Wearing the collar. 0-17. All right, other stuff department. Let's talk about it. It's 34 minutes past the hour, by the way. 72 degrees on the outside. Hey, your favorite ball game experience. Who'd like to start on this?
Well, I can tell you my absolute, and you know me, I'm not a baseball fan.
Okay, with football, baseball, soccer, ball game was just a colloquialism to tie it all together.
But a friend of mine was working in St. Louis. She got tickets the year that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were head and head in a home run knock.
Yeah.
So going into the ninth inning, the Chicago was down 1 run. Sammy Sosa came up, hit a home run that only got about 3 feet off the ground. I mean, he just got a solid lick on it. it went out of the park. No juice involved, I'm guessing.
A 2-iron shot, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it was. And so that tied the game up. And they went into extra innings. Finally, in the top of the 13th, or bottom would have been, McGuire comes up and hits this shot that, again, was like a cannon shot. It bounced off the wall back in center field and won that game. At that point, I looked over at my friend and I said to her, you know, I never have to see another professional baseball game in my life. It'll never get better than this.
And you never have you?
Well, I've got to say, I've gone to see the bats a couple of times, but that was only for the ice cream in the helmet.
Oh yes, the ice cream in the helmet. All right, good. I like it. That was 1998 was the big home run derby, by the way. Brought people back after the 94 season that was canceled and there was no World Series. T-Dog, you got to have a favorite ball game experience.
I got two. I'll keep them in chronological order in which they happened.
Please do.
2013, Bengals versus Patriots at Paul Brown Stadium. It was the one time I got to see Tom Brady play, and it wasn't a high-scoring affair, but it was a very rugged Bengals team that it looked like Brady was going to work his magic on the last drive. They were down 13-6. And it looks like they were going to at least drive down to tie it. And right when they got the ball, all of a sudden it had been stormy and overcast all day, and there was drizzles. But right as they kicked the ball and they took possession on offense, all of a sudden the clouds opened up and it just started pouring the whole time. And Brady took one shot down at the end zone, and Pac-Man Jones juggled the ball for a few seconds and then snagged it to secure a huge win, 13-6 by the Bengals. And you know, Marvin Lewis after the game actually gave the game ball to Mike Zimmer, which Marvin Lewis didn't give game balls out, but like I think it was just such a big win for them that it just felt great. The other one was in 2015, Colts versus Titans, where I was wrong on this one. I thought, oh man, this is going to be, speaking of AFC South, this ties into it. I thought this is going to be like two of the best quarterbacks going for the next, 15 to 20 years. Andrew Luck versus Marcus Mariota. Boy, was I wrong on that one. But Luck engineered a 21-point fourth quarter barrage to give them the lead. And then Mariota was able to get them down to score, and they had a chance to tie in the final minute. But for whatever reason, they gave the ball to Jalston Fowler, the fullback, and he couldn't punch in the two-pointer. Now I'm not blaming Jalston Fowler. Why are you giving Jalston Fowler the ball in that big spot? I don't know. It seems very bizarre to me. So I blame that on Mike Malarkey.
Malarkey.
But it was a great game.
That's a lot of malarkey.
That's a lot of malarkey right there, baby. All right, so I'm going to go with just an experience, not a win or a loss. I've been to the old Soldier Field whatever, and the new Soldier Field, and so I've seen both sides of that. But my favorite stadium experience was 2019 U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Vikings-Bears, last game of the year. Didn't matter, didn't count. Scrubs are playing. Nobody of importance is even playing, and didn't matter. They weren't that good anyway. But it's an unbelievable stadium, and I'm not a big fan of domes and modern stuff, but after that, I've completely changed. It's like a concert. The sound system, you can feel it in your bones. The announcers over the top, they spotlight, they run the LED lights. But here's the best part. My wife and I dressed up. I went as Mike Ditka, the coach, and she went as a Vikings fan. And we had pretty good seats that I got from a friend of mine. And we got on the Fox pregame show on the local Fox, and they said, hey, look at this guy Ditka over here. He wants to talk. So they put the camera on us. And then we even got on the big board, fellas. I'm talking about a video screen that's the size of like I don't know. It's the biggest one I've ever seen. It's the size of a silo. I mean, it's like, this thing is big. And there we were, because my wife made the sign you held up, and it said opposites attract. Get it? Get it?
Wow.
Yeah, so she was in her Viking gear. I was in my Ditka. I had the fake cigar that I got down here at Caulfield's, one of those Halloween things. And that was it. So 2019, last game of the season. And then after that, of course, everything went to crap. COVID kicked in, pandemic, and there were no games in person for the whole entire next season, practically. So felt pretty good to get that one in before everything went south. And U.S. Bank Stadium, if you get a chance, go see it. It's a blast. I highly recommend it. And it's 72 degrees inside, no matter. And it was December 26th. So there you go.
I know you just got the bug from Skull Chant. You know, you got that Skull Chant going. Hey, that's awesome. It's
unbelievable.
Awesome. It is, like all those people clapping above their heads saying "Skull." I mean, it's hard not to get amped.
I know it is hard not to get amped, and it really is cool. So that would be what I got. Anything else tonight?
I'd say rest in peace, Jalen Ferguson and Tony Saragusa. Yeah. Tragic news for the Baltimore organization and definitely for their family and friends. Just going both too young. Even at 55, that's too young. So,
yeah.
On a lighter note, I got to say the most interesting thing I've heard all week is that Adrian Peterson and Le'Veon Bell are going to be fighting in an exhibition boxing match to precurse their pro boxing careers. It's July 30th. I think I'm going to have to check that out if I can find it on ESPN, I guess, or wherever it's going to be.
Pay-per-view.
And they're going to follow in the footsteps of Frank Gore, who I didn't know this, who opened his professional boxing career in May and won a 4-round knockout. So that's just bizarre to me, but I guess, I know Adrian Peterson needs the money because he was never good with his cash. So
two guys who got the hell beat out of them in the NFL, 3 guys, they're still getting tortured to death. And AP, how many seasons did he play? 21, 20?
I don't know.
18? I don't know. A lot.
To make your boxing debut at like 37 or 38, whatever, it's just crazy. But hey, I got to say, it interests me. So I'll probably try to tune in. It's just so bizarre.
Real quick, who would you put money on?
AP.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, we're all in agreement.
Tough as nails, man.
That guy, So anyway, that's my final note.
All right, is there anything else?
That's it.
That'll do it. Hey, you've been listening to Sports and Other Stuff. We are the Sport Weasels, brought to you in part by this week, Faro Mobile Homes. Yes, cross that money-saving bridge for big savings. It's on the right going in, on the left going out, right where all them trees are. You stop in and ask for
fish. And this week, our man is on the road for a little R&R. He attended the first ever Slippery Stairs World Championship. It's exactly what it sounds like.
What?
College students dressed in colorful onesies try to climb a 40-step gooey slime-covered mast to the top while fending off fellow competitors who grab at legs and arms to keep the lead competitor from reaching the ringing bell. So, he was looking ahead to 4th of July. Fish got the women's champion, Delaney DeSantis, to sign several Stars and Stripes onesies, which will be given away at our 4th of July blowout. And the game there will be air hockey. So come on down and show off your air hockey, win yourself a onesie.
All right, we'll be back again next week after the slippery slope sweepstakes.
Slippery Stairs.
At Slippery Rock State College in Pennsylvania, maybe. Thanks for listening to Sports and Other Stuff. So long, till next time.
Bam, bam, bam. That is unbelievable.